Yo guys, Matt here with UMB. This is the alert recap video for Friday, October 24th. So for those of you that are new to watching these videos, we are making alert recap videos for all of our alert premium Telegram alert members on the alerts that went out that day. Now, we are not doing all of the alerts because it would take us 3, 4, 5 hour video to actually get through them all. What I am doing is just kind of going through the alerts, which you can see here on the left of my screen. It is our Telegram system with all the alerts for the day. And as you can see, there's like 20 or 30 different alerts. So what I do is I typically start at the beginning of the morning with the first couple, and then I'll kind of jump a couple hours and find a couple more, and jump a few hours and find a couple more. And, maybe we'll do 5 or 6 or 7, something like that. And just kind of show you guys, the point of these videos is to show our alert members and help our alert members be able to better trade the alerts that come through. Because remember, we're not sending alerts that tell you guys, something is a good buy, right? Buy here, sell there. We don't do that, right? We do not provide financial advice in that sense. What we do provide, and what our edge that we bring to you, is monitoring the market all day long from the open at 4 a.m. until the close really at 8 p.m. And we bring to you and alert you when we see volume, when we see news that drops that's interesting, when we see different candlestick pattern indicators show up on our charts that make sense, that tell us, hey, there could be something to look at here, right? So that's what we bring to you. And now we want to make these videos so that we can teach you the proper way to find these setups and take a position if they appear. So with that said, if you're not getting the alerts, get in the comments, let us know. We will definitely get you that information, and definitely get onto our Facebook and our socials and check us out, and just kind of follow along with what we're doing. It's actually pretty cool, and we have been able to get out some really awesome alerts, and people have definitely been banking on these. So anyway, on let's see here, Friday the 24th, ASNS was the first alert at 5:03 a.m. Now this was a play from the day before, I believe. We had a little spike the day before in the morning, and then it was just kind of flatlined all day. Well, what happened immediately at 4 a.m. at market open is we had a nice spike, right? So 601, 602, 603, we got you that alert at 66 cents right here. Now, this is something that you would have had to kind of chase a little bit, but it did, as soon as we got you the alert, it did provide for you a little pullback to take an entry. So, the MACD was wide open, as you can see. The volume was there, and we were still climbing. So on one of these two tails here, on one of these pullbacks, that for sure would have been an entry for another leg higher. Well, if you took that entry, this thing actually got us up all the way to 97 cents. Dude, this was all between, in like 3 minutes. So literally, while you're drinking your coffee at 5 a.m. in the morning, let's just see here, at 66 cents, you took the alert. And we went up here to 46 cents. You threw in $100 right there, right? Coming off that alert. In 3 minutes, you made $46. I mean, before you even had a chance to take 3 sips of your coffee, right? So this was actually a pretty good alert right out of the gate. The rest of the day, it just kind of fizzled off. We came down. We tried to find some support. We came back up on VWAP. We kind of held and we fell off. And then after that, it just fell off the rest of the day. There was no plays. But outside of like some quick scalping that you could have been doing. So anyway, that was ASNS. That was the first alert of the morning. The next, we'll just go to the very next one, SCNX, right, which was a few minutes later. SCNX came through at $1.89. This was obviously our monster play from the day before. So of course we're going to get a spike in the following morning. That's just kind of what happens and how it works. So what immediately happened was we had a big tank, right, all the way down to $1.82. The next candle opened, and we got you that alert right here because volume poured in, and we said, hey, this thing could run after this dump. A lot of times we'll get that dump, and then we'll get a nice run up, especially on a previous runner from the day before. But you would have been saying, hey, man, I really need to get above this like 214 before I really think about touching this thing. So we got you the alert in here. It popped up a little bit. It came back. It tried to hold VWAP. It couldn't. It lost it. It tried to get above it here again. It couldn't. It came down. It got above. It fell below. And then there was a monster scalp opportunity in here where the EMAs flipped, but we were below VWAP. Now, the volume was there, right? We finally started to get a little bit of volume. but it really wasn't that strong, as you can see, compared to these other volume bars. But the MACD was open, so that certainly could have been a position that you could have taken and scalped this thing from here to there. So unfortunately, yesterday, outside of some scalp opportunities, like all the way down here, if you were playing with the Fibonacci or something like that, you could have taken this and just kind of let it ride on no volume all the way to the top. That's more of an advanced play. We don't really teach or preach that here, although we may get into some of those strategies as we move a little deeper into these videos. So anyway, we'll just kind of keep going here. GNTA, I can't even pull it up on this chart because this is Robinhood and it's not available on Robinhood, but this was a monster play. If anybody was able to catch this thing early in the morning, there was a huge, massive squeeze on this thing from like, I don't even know where it came from, down at like a few dollars up to $41, and then it pulled all the way back into like that $12, $13 range. Anyway, that was a beautiful alert. If you were able to pull that up, unfortunately, I can't show it on this screen. I'd have to jump over to my Webull side. Anyway, we'll just move a little farther along into the morning here. I don't know. Let's see what WGRX did at 8:09. WGRX came through at 8:09. I think this was a pretty good one yesterday. Pretty sure we played it a few times. So 8:09 was right in here, right? So earlier in the morning we had a nice run up. Unfortunately, this didn't hit our scanner because the volume was so low on it. Like in here, even though we had a nice little climb, the volume was so low it just didn't register on our scanner until we started getting these 8 a.m. wicks. That's when we noticed it and picked up on it. So 8:09 was right in here. This is when we noticed it. We alerted it. Anytime you look at a ticker right at 8 a.m., you get these kind of dancing wicks if there's some action on it. You don't want to take a trade in here because it's super volatile. We just don't know what it's going to do. So you got to kind of wait till we get out of that nonsense and it levels out. We were above VWAP, which was great. And it just wasn't really, there was no volume after that. It just kind of did one of these, right? Fell below VWAP, had a nice VWAP reclaim right here at just after market open. Came back down, it retested, jumped up, retested, and then went up for a run. So right here for sure would have been an entry at this $1.05 break, which we got finally. So you would have gotten in here, somewhere around here, right? Like this candle here is the one that actually broke and closed. The next one opened, fell below, got support on VWAP. You probably would have waited for the next one to open green and take your entry right here. Boom, up here, little consolidation, boom, falls down to support again, boom, for another ride up. I mean, that is one of my favorite patterns, right? When we basically stair step, we come up, we consolidate, we come up, we consolidate, come up, and then consolidate, pull back to support, come up. I mean, it's just one of the easiest patterns to follow, in my opinion. So from there, we got a nice pullback to VWAP. This would have been an awesome VWAP bounce play. I mean, you would have caught this bounce down at $1.13 and rode that back up to $1.44. Just an awesome opportunity for some scalping in there. Very wicky and just kind of not the prettiest chart overall, but definitely provided some opportunities. We had a VWAP reclaim scalp in here, and we had some scalps out of the low down here, which could have been a decent play. So wasn't the easiest, cleanest chart to trade on all day, but I certainly played it a few times, and it would have definitely provided for a bunch of opportunities if you knew what you were looking for. That's the point of these videos. So and I am cruising through them again, just in the interest of time, just trying to give you some ideas. Let's see, QLGN. I forget if that was yesterday, if this was, because this was on Thursday as well. Let's just see what it did. QLGN came through again. This was in here. You can see I had a little squeeze marked out. So we sent this at 9:14 in the morning. This was early in the morning. I was watching this liquidity zone here, and I was watching this downtrend, and I was waiting for this break. We got the break. We came back. We retested. I actually took a position here because what happened was I was watching this downtrend. I was watching this liquidity zone. We were on VWAP. I was waiting to break. We broke. We came back down. We retested our support, and then I took a position right here. That is a perfect position to take. Now, what I wasn't paying close enough attention to at that time was, where was it? Right here was our volume and our MACD. Look at the MACD when I took that position. Now, let's see, right in here is where I took it, right? Look at the MACD kind of like pinched off. Now, it on the next bar, it immediately opened. So I thought I was okay, but then on the next bar, it immediately closed. So once that happened and I fell below my entry, I let it ride because I knew I had VWAP here and I really wanted to see it just kind of come down, get more liquidity, and then bounce. Once I broke VWAP on this candle, I was out. But I mean, look at the MACD at that point too. Like I should have been definitely going out. So anyway, I got stopped out on that for a small loss on that portion of the play. This thing, it actually wasn't alerted until later in the morning. What were we saying? It was at 9:14, so that was all the way over here. So we were below VWAP. We had come back up just, and we alerted basically, instead of a VWAP reclaim, we just set a volume spike because we were starting to get some volume finally. You had opened this up. We were right here on this doji, basically. You said, okay, we reclaim VWAP. Volume looks decent. MACD's like, yeah, it's pretty good. So you waited for the next candle. It came down. It went back to VWAP. You're like, you're thinking, okay, that's my VWAP test, right? So that actually, and then we closed above VWAP, and the next one opens green. That signals an entry right there. So you went long here. You wrote up 10 cents. The next one opened. We went, actually, yeah, the MACD was pinching off here. I didn't even notice that, but the MACD was pinching off there. So that would have been your first indicator that, like, hey, even when we got into this next one, it came down. The MACD was closed. Look at that. And then even as we got into the next one, it slammed back up. It was still closed. It never actually reopened, even though we were headed back up. So that's the importance of looking at the MACD there. Like, you could seriously get faked out here in that position, where, you let it close and you took your position and you were looking for that leg up. And then you got, you basically got trapped and you got faked out and it came back down and you lost. But if you had been looking at the MACD and said, I don't like it, the MACD's closed, and you waited for it to open, which if we had gotten another candle right here that went like this, that MACD would have like just opened up at that point and you could have taken your play starting then. So that's how the MACD can really kind of save you from getting faked out like that. I am going to make a video specifically on fake breakouts and not getting trapped like that. But that's really what I just kind of described to you. So we'll keep moving here. Let's see. NEUP was a good one, and it was actually alerted back here somewhere at 8:53 in the morning. So let's see. NEUP, 8:53. Let's see. Where are we? 8:45. All right, so we had jumped up, consolidated, jumped up again, and we got into this range, and it was 8:53, which is like as we were coming back down to VWAP here, we finally put the alert out thinking, all right, this thing's going to come down, it's going to bounce, and it's going to go, which it essentially did after dancing around a little bit. But you would have basically opened this chart and said, okay, we got support in here. And we got some resistance up here. Now, the other thing that you really would have been looking at was a potential squeeze play, right? Whenever you see a high like this and you see a pullback to a nice support and the support drags out and we kind of make lower lows, what do you see? Well, you see a downtrend from your high, right? Like this. And, I'd love to be able to connect this point to it. It doesn't quite touch, but I'm kind of, I'm touching over here, and then you would draw, which really is VWAP, but you would draw a horizontal line below that, like this, right? And say, okay, there's my support, because we dipped, right? Dipped, and then almost dipped, but it's really on VWAP, and then bam, we broke out. when you start getting to the point of this, of this triangle, that's the squeeze zone. We know that this thing is going to do one thing or the other. It's going to break out to the top. It's going to break out to the bottom. So we're getting ready right here to make a decision. So anyway, if you were watching this and took this kind of squeeze play breakout, that would have been an awesome play from about 583 up to 832. And I mean, look at that. It's clear as day, right? You would have known if we got to this point and it fell below your support line. You're thinking, okay, well, it didn't do it. You knew it was going to move one way or the other, but it fell below, so there's no entry. Okay, right here we got up and we broke, right? Okay, great. That's an entry. Now, the one thing I will mention is a lot of times the right way to play these breakouts is to let it break out and then let it pull back and do what we call a back test of this. It'll come down, it'll retest that same support line somewhere in here, and then it'll go from there. Now, in this particular one, it never did that. So, they don't always set up perfectly. I like to see the retest before taking a position. On this one, you wouldn't really have gotten that. You had some jargon in here where it was kind of difficult to hold through before it actually made the bigger move. But in that situation, what you're really doing is looking at your volume and, just kind of setting a tight stop loss. If you got in here without your pullback, you immediately blasted up. You pulled back, you blasted up higher, you're still holding, you're fine. You pulled back, you pulled up in here a little bit, you fell below your entry. You could have stopped out, but really your stop on this would have had to have been support or this trend line, right? You wouldn't bail before then because you have no break of structure yet. So you would have been holding this whole way through all the way up to the top. That's how you would have played this alert. Let's just see. I'm interested to see what that move was. So let's say you got it in here up to there. 40% move, guys. I mean, not a bad play at all. This was NEUP. So let's go on to another one. Let's get into like market hours here somewhere and just see what's going on. TOVX came through at 47 cents. This one was a great one. This ran up to $1 or maybe more, I think. I can't remember, but oh yeah, I got lines all over this chart. Let's see. Yeah, this thing was a monster. So we alerted this at, it also had news. Or no, it didn't. Sorry, that was Holo. 47 cents on volume at 9:59 a.m. So down here, coming down. So we got our first pop resistance. We came down and we alerted right in here at 47 cents, somewhere in here. Now we fell back down, and where did we land, guys? Well, we landed on this previous low, this previous high here that it couldn't resist. That was where I'm just going to lower this line, or one of these, maybe this guy. I'm going to pull this down here and put it there, and look at where we pulled back to. So as soon as we closed there, you would have taken your position right here as this candle opened for another leg up. Now, again, what do I always tell you guys? Be ready to scale. Like, always be thinking as this is coming up that it could double top and dump on you. So I'm always ready to scale here. It all depends on what the MACD says for me and how hard the volume's coming. If it blasts, if I get into this candle and it blows through and I don't even have time to scale, then I'll just kind of hold for a second and wait. Every stock is different. You got to kind of, you just have to be cautious of where these resistance levels are and be ready to scale if you need to be. Also, don't get greedy, right? Like, if you got up to this level and that was your take profit anyway, because your risk was right here and that was already a 3x, then just take your profit. I mean, and then reposition, right? So do not get greedy in these plays. That's where I see a lot of people go wrong is they take these and like, well, I'm just going to hold them. I already got $100. I can get $200 on this next move. I can get $300, $400, $500. Well, they get up to like 100 and they're like, sweet, and then it goes like 125. Yeah, and then boom, it crashes off and they walk away with break even, or worse, they lose on the trade. I mean, just unbelievable. So you got to be ready to take some profits. But anyway, this thing ran from that 47-cent alert all the way up to 84 cents was the high of the day. And then it provided opportunities, all day, scalping opportunities. But that was a monster move, man. Like, somewhere down here to there, 82% move up there. So just an awesome play. It was really fun to play. It didn't really knife out on us one way or the other. It was very predictable to kind of scalp this in here. So um, I was actually trading this for a while with one of the other analysts, and we were having a lot of fun on it. So anyway, that was TOVX on the day. Let's see. I'm just trying to go through the alerts a little bit here. It kind of slowed down a little bit in the middle of the day, but let's see. MAMK, that came out at 1:30. I think this was kind of like a pump and dump, or it spiked and then fell way off. I don't know. Let's just see what it did. I forget. Oh yeah, we halted up, all kinds of nonsense. So, let's see. 1:30 is right here. This candle right here. On volume, we alerted. It was kind of a weird play, but we pushed it out anyway at $4 and is that 1:30? Yeah, at $4.98. So somewhere in here, wasn't much to go off behind you. There's a couple support levels, but that's it. You would have been waiting for really not much, just confirmation on your MACD that you were open and some volume, which we had, but it wasn't humongous. So, yeah, it was a pump and dump is exactly what happened. Look at that. It halted here, blasted back up, halted again, blasted up, and then slammed back down. So difficult to play, but if you had gotten in here on that alert because you really weren't looking for a break of anything, it was like, well, we got volume coming in. Let's just take a little piece. You got a pretty decent move there. Like, let's just see what that was. From here to there, it was 48% again. So if you held through those halts, more power to you. But look how bad it, halted down, boom, halted down, halted down, like just that was a horrible ending to the day there, and then or to that run. But then it jumped back up. You had a couple scalping opportunities in here, but it really couldn't be trusted after all this halt nonsense back here. Not by me anyway. So let's see what else ran. We get into the afternoon. SLE was awesome. I definitely bought this pretty much right out of the gate. Let's just see how I played this. So yeah, SLE was awesome. This came out at 406, which was this candle right here, the second volume candle, and that was at a price of $2.59. So that was down here. Again, what do I always look for on these like opening plays and after hours, right? Because this was 4:03 p.m. or 4:06 p.m. After that first spike, I like to try and get that first dip if we get back down in the middle of the candle. I didn't quite get it. The next one opened, I took a position, and I did load it kind of heavy because I wasn't looking for much out of this thing. And within 3 minutes, I was already up a decent amount. I mean, I think I loaded somewhere in here, my full position, like 260. And I rode up here probably, I think I got into this candle. Or no, I was looking at $3. That's what it was. I was like, if we had three, I'm out. We did. And I got a nice 15% move. But again, I was loaded pretty heavy because that's exactly what I was looking for. And so you could have taken that, run into consolidation. I missed this next piece here because I wasn't loaded in this consolidation. We were on a bit of a downtrend. I was afraid we were going to fall off. I missed this leg. It pulled back. I think I actually grabbed it here, and I got a quick scalp on this 1 minute here. Got into the next one and sold up here at like 350 or something. So I got two pieces of this, but that overall move was awesome. From that alert was somewhere in here to up there. A 40% move in after hours. I mean, SLE was a really good one, and it was fun to play for sure. So I don't know. There was a bunch more. Let's look at Click, I guess. We'll just end the video with CLIK. That came through at 416. Let's look. So 416, that was this second candle here. And it came through at $6.92, which was like right here. We had already had our pullback. So this was like, this was basically an immediate position, at least to load with like half size. Now, it ran pretty hard from there all the way up to $8.32. So you would have pulled this up and immediately, um, taken a position, and you would have got a 20% gain immediately if you rode that thing to the top. So it didn't do much after that. Oh, I'm sorry, it did. Um, so I was actually off charts later in the day, and I didn't even see this move, but this thing ran to a high of 1076 in later in the evening, like 6:30, 7 o'clock in the evening. I mean, unbelievable. From that alert, it was a 55% move. I mean, crazy. And it got actually even higher at the end of the day, up there at 1120 to a 61% move. I apologize, guys. I actually never even pulled this chart up because I was not on screens. I had one of my kids' sporting practices, so I was off screens at this time when this alert came through, and I never even saw this thing. But that's pretty cool. So anyway, this was a good alert for sure. If you guys caught it. But that's how I would have played this. I would have rode up to in here somewhere, and as soon as we started pulling back, I probably would have bailed. Now, if I was looking at VWAP in here, because we were in, I would have been hoping for a VWAP bounce. If we broke that, I would have cut. This would have fell back under here, and I would have said, all right, this thing's dead. Hey, but then we reclaimed VWAP, and I for sure would have probably taken a position in here because this thing closed, the next one opened. But look at my MACD. If I was looking at that, I would not have until I saw that reopen. And it didn't really reopen until we got a little bit into here. I might have got faked out there, but as soon as we lost VWAP, I would have cut again. So it was kind of choppy in here. I would not have been in this thing in here. At this point, I would have been saying, all right, I need a VWAP reclaim, but I also really need to break this like $8 range. Because without doing that, I'm not going very far on it, even if I get a VWAP reclaim. So if I was watching in here, I would have said, all right, we're starting to climb. Boom, we got our break. We got our retest. We fell below. We came back up. We got our retest. And then bam, right? So right in here, your only indicator to actually get in a position here would have been your MACD opening, which happened about right here, and serious volume coming in, right? Which was obviously this candle. So as soon as this candle shot off, that would have been your signal for an entry, right? Even though you could have gotten in down here, but the volume was weak right here. We had already tried to get through once, tried to get through again, and couldn't. It's like, does it have enough strength? Who knew that all this volume was going to pour in, right? So over here, our MACD was closed, right, in this location. So it wasn't until we got in here that we were really looking at that saying, okay, MACD's wide open. We got volume pouring in. Let's go. So that's where you would have taken a position maybe somewhere around, I don't know, 840 if you could have caught it. And then rode that thing up to 1087. So that was CLIK, click. Again, another ticker that we're very familiar with. We've seen it pop up a bunch, and we've played it a bunch. So anyway, that is that, guys, for Friday the 24th recap video. If you're enjoying these videos, please let me know. It does take time to do them. My hope is that you alert members are able to actually watch them and just kind of see the few that I actually recap and learn from them. Again, we are not here to tell you guys how to enter a trade or when or where. All we are doing is giving you what's moving and what you should be looking at. And then with these videos, I am telling you how I break them down myself using my technical indicators, the technical analysis, my candlestick analysis, and then my other tools, my MACD, whatever else, right? I'm telling you how I would play them as a seasoned trader, as one of the analysts at as one of the analysts at UMB. So that's the point of these videos. I hope you're enjoying them. Let me know in the comments if you would like to get on the alerts and you're not on them yet. Let us know as well. We will get you that information. So with that said, guys, enjoy the weekend. We will end this video here, and I am really hoping for a strong Monday.